Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. This episode, we're going to be talking about Tosha, Aileen, and Sidian and their relationship as far as the characters on Seeking Sister Wives, and the con goes on. Alright, before we get started, I would ask that if you get anything from the channel, that you at least consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like, share the videos, if possible, with your friends and family, anybody who might get something from it or like the content. Also, consider leaving your take down below in the comment section. I try to respond to everything that you guys leave, and I definitely read everything, so let me know what you think. Let's get it! Now, Seeking Sister Wives obviously is a show where you have polygamous families trying to find other sister wives to join their family. Now, specifically talking about Sidian and his wife, Tosha, they are a couple who, when they first met, Sidian was married to another young lady. He wasn't really married, but he called himself her husband. He called that person his wife. Then he met Tosha. The two of them got together, or actually the three of them got together. Tosha joined Sidian and his first wife, who had 3 kids with Sidian, and eventually that relationship broke up. Now, there's some speculation as to why they broke up. Tosha says that it just wasn't working out. She took a step back and she left, and everything was everything. And then eventually the first wife left. The first wife has come out recently and said that she actually left because she never agreed to do a polygamous relationship and Sidian was cheating. So whatever is whatever. As it turns out, it's just been Tosha and Sidian since that point. Now, when we catch up with them, Tosha and Sidian would go to bars, and they would go out to different places, and they would meet these young ladies, and they would try to talk to them, and they would introduce and try to indoctrinate them into the polygamous lifestyle. A lot of the women would dump them, and they would turn them down and say, no, I'm not interested. So he really wasn't pulling anybody off of this show. And as it turned out, Tosha apparently, according to her, went over to the Philippines and met this young lady named Aileen like 5 years ago, and all of a sudden she started talking to her about polygamy and becoming a sister wife for Sidian and all that other stuff. So Sidian starts talking to Aileen. The two of them are talking. He tries to go out to the Philippines twice before to meet her, and it just didn't work out. Then this third time during the course of this season, he was able to get out there. Now, the young lady that he's seeing out there, she was like Miss Filipino and all this other stuff, and Sidian really isn't pulling those kind of women, a caliber of woman. So he's very excited about dating this young lady. So that makes him very interested in this whole situation. It makes him very susceptible to the con that I think is going on. Or at least the way it's laid out in this show. It kind of just reeks that he's getting played, because he's super excited about going out there. Then he finally gets out there to meet her, and he's so excited. But the whole time before he can even get out there is, I gotta get out there. I gotta see her, because if I don't, then I could lose her, and we possibly could lose her, and we can't lose her because she's so amazing, and she's so beautiful, and she's so wonderful, and oh my God, she's Mrs. Filipino, and I can't lose her. And so he was super desperate and super motivated to try to get out to see her. Then when he finally gets out to see her, with Tosha's agreement, he goes out, sees her, and he's so in love with her. He's so amazed by her, and she says that she's going to stay in the room with him, and oh my gosh, she throw that thing on him, and he can't even see what's going on, and he can't even see straight. This dude is so excited. The next thing you know, before he leaves, he's talking about he wants to marry her, because that's the only way that he can bring her back to America, and he has to bring her back to America, because if she stays out there too long, she might lose interest, and he might lose her. So, oh my goodness, Jiminy Crickets, we got to get married. So he starts talking about the K-1 visa, because that's the fastest way for her to try to get to America, because she can't get approved for any other type of visa. So he wants to bring her to America under the K-1 visa, which requires that he actually marry this young lady, which puts her ahead of Tosha, meaning that Tosha, even though she's been with him for like 5 years as his wife, even though she's really legitimately his girlfriend, right? But she's his wife. This new young lady that she's going to bring into the relationship is actually going to be his wife. And everybody's pretending like this isn't a big deal, but this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal. Before he actually proposed to her, he's talking to her about coming to America, and then she brings up the fact that the easiest way for her to get to America is through a K-1 visa. And then she says, well, I have a friend who just happens to be an immigration lawyer. Let me call them. And then she pulls out her cell phone, and all of a sudden it's do 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 do. Hello. And then she starts talking to him. Now, the first thing, we're going to stop right there, because the first thing I want you to recognize is the fact that I have a cell phone, and I'm old school, and I grew up in a time when you actually had to remember phone numbers, and I was actually pretty good at it. And nowadays, I barely remember anybody's phone number. If I have somebody's number in my phone, I typically just go to their name in the contacts and hit their contact information to call them. She straight up dialed this person. This is crazy. So this is a person she legitly knows, right? Which is kind of troubling. First red flag. Second red flag. When she starts talking to the person on the phone, the lawyer on the phone, she says to the lawyer, hey, what's going on? It's me, Aileen. Hey, what's going on, Aileen? You want to talk about the K-1 visa? That's the best way for you to get to America and the best avenue for you to take. So you guys have to get engaged so you can get married. And then just to let you know, the American embassy says that they're starting to review documents again. And so they're letting people back. Wait, how do you know all this? Because all she said was, hey, it's me. She didn't even say, hey, what's going on? This is me. It's Sidian. Hey, let's talk about what's happening, etc., etc., etc. She just simply said, hey, what's up? And then the woman started running through the whole thing. So that was a huge red flag for me. And it lets me know that off rip, see, a lot of times Americans go to these places and they start, Americans, UK people, a lot of different places. They go places and they think that because they meet somebody and they're attractive and they're so beautiful and they're so wonderful and I'm so lucky that I met this person and we have so much in common, that they don't realize that, one, a lot of times they're in very desperate situations in some of these poorer countries, especially. Not besmirching their character at all, because it is what it is. But when they are in these desperate situations, a lot of them understand our system better than we do. So when you talk about the K-1 visa, they understand how the green card process works better than most Americans do, right? So with that being said, you're going down there, you're excited about being down there. You have a feeling of loss, which creates urgency because you're afraid you're going to lose this person. You're desperate because you haven't been able to get the type of person that you want anyway. And then all of a sudden, this person becomes available. You're afraid that you're going to lose them. So now it puts you in a very unique position where you're willing to do anything that's necessary in order for you to attain that person that you're so desperate to get. And they realize that and they feed on it and they take advantage of it. So long story short, I think Sidian is actually going to be taken advantage of in this scenario. To be honest with you, with a lot of the Seeking Sister Wives cast members, I don't really feel bad for him as much as I just kind of see it coming, and it's like, oh well, it is what it is. Because when push comes down to shove, I don't think that there's anybody in this entire cast, or at least these last few seasons that I watched, where I look at it and I genuinely feel bad for any of the cast members. Some of them, I kind of sympathize with their situations, but at the end of the day, it's one of those scenarios where you kind of understood what you were getting into when you started doing this. So how bad can I feel for you? If you voluntarily went into it, then I can't really feel bad for you, because then I'm second guessing and pushing down your choices. You have a choice to do whatever you want to do. Sidian can do whatever he likes to do. I think it's a mistake. You're going to bring a woman back up from another country here who's going to be on top of the woman that's supposedly your backbone and the one that's been having your back the whole time. And she's going to fall back into the second position because, again, if you recall, when he first met Tosha, Tosha was his second wife. So she was always kind of the backup wife. And then he's just found another person who's going to replace his first wife. And then Tosha, again, is going to fall back into the backup wife position. And it's just not healthy for anybody involved. So that's my take, and I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life